All right, loading into Game 5 in the best of 5 series between Team BBZ and Team ATZ. This is the final game in the Season 4 tournament. We have Team BBZ on the red side and Team ATZ on the blue side. This is pretty much a reverse sweep in the making right now. BBZ has come back despite being 2-0 for the beginning of the series. And just looking at the compositions, we have a lot of comfort picks that came into play. Karthus for Crazy Mr. BC, Xerath for X Bryson, and the Katarina, of course, for Keno. We have a co-caster today. Emp's going to be casting with me. Just looking at the comps, who do you favor?
I favor red side. I like what they have going for them with like Karthus and like a late game, but it could honestly go either way, in my opinion. Because blue side has a pretty good draft with poke and in and out. I just think red side's a little easier to execute, but
that's true.
The game could go either way for sure.
I think the thing is, like, Karthus obviously has like a free damage button, but the way Bryson's been playing, his R pretty much does the same thing, if not more damage to a single target. Like, he hasn't been missing. So I feel like they kind of trade damage for one. So, but overall, I think I'm most excited to see this mid lane matchup because Keno finally getting to play Katarina, and Corbin obviously familiar with Yone, but it's not his main, so he's just familiar with it.
Yeah, the mid lane matchup is very dynamic. So like things happen. You can't just sit and farm. Like no matter what will happen, like you have to win or lose lane.
Yeah.
So it should be pretty exciting.
So far, it's a pretty bad early trade for Bryson. I think something he's been really struggling with in this series overall is when he's playing a champion that needs to be throwing out abilities, he tends to take back just as much damage, if not more. So right there, he didn't respect the Morgana Q, so he ended up going down to about half HP, but Karthus doesn't really have kill pressure early, so maybe it'll be okay. So we'll just have to see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm surprised mid lane that the Yone isn't taking shove. He can get prio very easily in this lane, and I think that's the correct move. So letting Kenyon get prio is pretty surprising.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, Katarina early on the damage isn't there, the wave clear isn't there. Okay, so Chevy Man has gone real low. Is there going to be a dive here? Yeah, flash forward, immediately popped. I think that 3 turret shots? Yeah, the last one's going to take him. And the heal isn't there just quite yet. So a 1-for-1 trade in the top lane. First split obviously goes over to Mr. Zufu, so he'll be happy about that. But most importantly, I think it was worth it because Chevy Man loses this whole wave.
Yeah, that's a lot of minions now.
Yeah, he's going to teleport though. And it looks like Zufu's okay with not using teleport. Oh, he's actually going to walk back. Did he miss an item? Oh, he could afford boots. Okay, yeah, so that's a pretty big pickup.
I'm not familiar with bot lane. Ushik, how's this matchup go?
So obviously the poke is clearly in Ezreal and Xerath's favor. But I mean, Bryson, he's playing an immobile champion, and if he gets caught out even once, okay, good sidestep there. The poke's going to be kind of split here. Xerath going for Crazy Mr. BC and Drowsy going for a Gundle, but Gundle's going to get pretty low stunned up, but he's going to immediately flash forward, gets the last auto, gonna pop the barrier to try to survive, but actually Drowsy's really misplaying there. He should have been autoing Crazy Mr. BC. Of course, the Q wouldn't have landed on him because Palmer was blocking it. But since Bryson had gotten Crazy Mr. BC, so oh my god, the fadeaway flash E and the mid lane, oh my, there's so much action, it's kind of crazy. But after all that, I mean, ATZ comes out ahead. A nice gain coming in from Unknown. I didn't see how it actually ended up happening. It looks like, I mean, the wave was on red side of the map, so it must have just been a misplay from CJ.
Stepping up a little too far, no vision.
Yeah.
Once you see that bot lane play going down and you know Vi, and the Vi doesn't show up, you know she's in the top side, so you just got to respect that, and he should have been hovering bot side.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think Vi is definitely just one of those champions who can force, like really aggressively force a gank to happen with the flash Q, or a Q flash rather. So that ended up working really well, but on the other side, Briar's gonna head up top. Chevy Man does see it, does buffer the stun with his dash. Is he going to be able to get away from here? The bleed is there, but definitely not going to be enough. So the pink ward definitely paying off there. Briar unable to respond in kind the way Vi was able to get a kill, although, you know, they did have some success in the bot lane. Overall, I'm seeing a lot of mistakes, though, from Drowsy there. I think he probably get a kill Karthus as well.
This top lane looks like it to be in a rough spot. His wave, if
Yeah.
Sufu doesn't touch it, it's pushing.
Oh, yeah,
Shiverman
and he's
really
zoning.
needs the jungler help.
Yeah, for sure. And Vi is obviously going for the dragon play because they were able to confirm that Big Palm is on his Raptors with the ward. So that's going to be a pretty free first dragon. Okay, CJ's going to go in. Q3 doesn't land. And Briar is nearby too. Are they going to make something happen out of this? He is level 6 to level 5 of CJ. Briar is definitely spending a lot of time. He is level 4 though. He's a little bit underleveled. And Vi is going to use this opportunity to go bot. And the pings are coming in. Vi's coming around long way. He's going to charge up the Q. Q flash. Oh my goodness. So that's kind of crazy because Crazy Mr. BC flashed, it ended up taking down the much lower HP of Gundle. So, I mean, it's not like he should let the Q flash hit him, but really unfortunate that Gundle wasn't able to use anything before he dies there. So really nicely done, the Q flash there. And the nice follow-up from Ezreal and Xerath. They knew Vi was coming. And just good, good gank.
Yeah, I want to hear your opinion about this, because I feel like Barrier isn't the most optimal to take on Karthus.
Yeah, the barrier is definitely questionable. Okay, so just to hold that thought real quick here. Ezreal is going to follow up. The Q is going to land. The W... Oh, okay, the WQ fade away was very good. Yeah, man, this bot lane is really starting to snowball. Unknown kind of greeting the Grump here, and it was about to be punished. But I'm just kind of seeing the Gundle and Crazy Mr. BC slightly not on the same page. And Karthus doesn't necessarily have the quick DPS needed. It's more of a slow burn. So they really couldn't deal with the Vi constantly getting shields with their passive. But to touch on the barrier, yeah, I don't think Karthus barrier is ever a thing, no matter the meta. I think Tyler may have just picked it up because it's a very meta summoner right now for bot lane. But like Karthus doesn't mind dying, you know?
Yeah, exactly. He wants to die. I think Exhaust does essentially what Barrier would do for Karthus, but like so much more for him. He needs, if he wants that defensive summoner spell, he should definitely have just taken Exhaust.
Okay, so a dive's happening here. Dawson's gonna charge up. He's gonna get a 2-man knockup, but the R2 is gonna land as well. But the problem there was that he did not. The enemy didn't take tower aggro yet. So the knockup, all it did was, you know, deal some damage. It didn't get the turret to shoot them. And of course, the Volibear are, you know, kind of weakening the turret as well. Very nicely executed dive for sure, but really impressive play coming in from Chevy Man as well. Despite two pretty much point-and-click stuns coming in from Volibear and Briar, the fact that he was able to get off the knockup and the R2 was pretty impressive.
At the end of the day, this Ornn is weak-sided, and I mean, you couldn't ask for a better champion to be on the weak side, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. I honestly, the fact that he was even able to trade the first blood earlier was huge. He just pumping out like the Bramble early, definitely helping. Okay, so Bryson's gonna get caught out by here by Morgana Q, and Crazy Mr. BC's throwing out a lot of Qs landing. Single target is gonna do that bonus damage, so he's gonna have to respect it, but he is very far away from level 6. So Keno playing really aggressive. Okay, Q3 is going to land. CJ gonna get the shield. The Ignite is popped. Oh my goodness, the R just does not cast enough. And actually, Keno's going to survive. So super unfortunate that didn't trade back. The last tick of an Ignite just simply was enough. Okay, Briar R is coming in, but... Okay, so the Vi blocks it with a Q. Ulted up. And Keno's a bit of a disrespectful... Oh my goodness, yeah. Disrespectful recall. Stepping back a few steps would have been better. Other side... Drowsy's going to pop barrier immediately to negate that initial damage, but Karthus is low on mana, immediately re-engaged, and now he's going to go down to Xerath's R. Bryson just simply doesn't miss, and the last shot from the R is going to be enough. That was definitely a situation where they thought they can bite off a bit more than they can chew because the Morgana Q landed, but once again, the DPS just isn't there.
Yeah, the risk to reward ratio, it's not worth it. You have that big of a wave pushing to you. I mean, it's not worth the trade. I mean, worst case scenario, you die like that and you miss all the minions. So not a good choice. Yeah, we're seeing that right now. Oh, a nice buffer there. Tried to get the unstoppable to try to negate the stun. Okay, another
really big engagement coming in there. I feel like every time I'm laning against Yone personally, if I see his E is down, it really frees up my ability to play aggressive against him. So I don't know if you're supposed to be using your E liberally like that, or if you should be really holding it. I don't. What are your takes on that?
It's completely situational, and it is like that. Your E is a very important cooldown, so you want to use it. With Katarina, you gotta watch that E dash, but he should be following the trades longer. He tends to not drag the trades out long enough with his E. So
okay. Yeah, that, I mean, I think the no. Okay, so there's gonna be a Karthus ult to support this fight, and they're gonna pair it up with starting up the dragon. I think they know that Vi's topside. Yeah, there is a ward there, so they end up not getting the Volibear, and they're gonna give up the second Drake. It's gonna be the Hex Tech, which means this will be an Infernal Soul map, really good for Bryson and Ezreal, but also good for the Karthus. So we'll have to see who decides to stack that up first. Now the rest of Team BBZ are gonna make their way over to Grubs. Volibear is singled out, immediately jumped on, and Bryson's going to get hit by the Briar R, so he's going to go down to Briar. But however, are they able to finish off the Volibear? The shield is there. The healing is not quite as strong yet. Oh my god, the healing is actually insane. But now Chevy Man has been caught out. He's going to get hit by so much CC. He is not able to R2. And CJ continuing the chase. Unknown is going to try to turn around and try to pick up one more, but he cannot. And Keno, knowing that this is a pretty much lost fight, is just going to find a spot to recall. And I don't know. At the end of the day, it was a 4 versus 4. Both supports had roamed, and Volibear, yes, was caught out. But I think the biggest problem there was that Briar R hit Xerath. I think anybody else in the fight could have extended.
Yes, at the end of the day, what's really important too is all your golds on the bottom side of the map. Ezreal is your fed one, so you're not playing with Ezreal right there. It's fine to contest Grubs, but you just got to remember that fact, that at the end of the day, even though you have a lead, the lead's bot lane, and it's not at that fight, so it's a risky fight to take.
No, for sure, yeah. I was definitely thinking that too. Like, Ezreal's the one with all the lead at this point. And sure, like, Yone's behind a little bit, and Auron is just so much value during team fights, sure. But that last fight was just a sign of how powerful just having a Karthus on your team is. Like, just the 5-man... Oh, well, that's awkward. It sucks that the automated camera just happened to catch that, but it's just a little bit of blunder there.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us, for sure. But it's not going to deter him too much. He is still very strong. I mean, Vi and Briar, they're both, like, kind of fed to the point where whoever catches out somebody... you know, from a bush or something, is gonna pretty much get a kill uncontested. Just the rundown from both of them is really, really strong.
It's a very good game for Briar.
Oh yeah.
3 squishies. That bot lane not having a support, an engaged support, is super good for Briar. Playing against that Xerath instead of like a Thresh or a Nautilus makes her life so much easier.
Yeah. So there, I think that situation right there is a good example of what Yone's capable of with E, especially with red buff too. He was just so relentless, able to get Katarina down pretty low there. He's actually going to miss the Q3 there, and I think this fight might extend a little bit longer. Keno is definitely taking some aggressive trades. He's going to Shimpo out and dodges the Q3, but it does get hit by the W. Some of that damage was blocked. Now Briar Ultimate's going to land onto Drowsy on the bottom half of the map. He's going to be able to get away with red buff and had to pop the barrier. Has flash still. Karthus ult is going to come down. Is it going to be enough damage? No, it's not. And the stun's going to land from Bryson. And meanwhile, of course, Unknown did do a lot of damage to the Karthus as well. Last shot, is it going to be enough? No, not quite. It doesn't land. Now, Katarina's recalling here. Yone does have ultimate ignite and flash. He takes a turret shot, another one, 2 in a row for no reason. I mean, he is canceling the recall, but... it's gonna come down to... Okay, the Q3 timed out, and Keno immediately goes at ultimate, Shimpos, dodges the R, and the Ignite tick is gonna do a huge outplay coming in from Keno. Wow.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yone wasted his E cooldown to try to stop the recall, so once your E's down like that, you kind of gotta respect him.
Yeah.
He also has minion waves, so it's like, it's a very risky spot to step up like that after taking 2 tower shots to try to stop his base.
Yeah, I agree. I think, I mean, when you see a target that low, especially with all of your abilities up, I mean, you start seeing red and you got kind of go for it. Okay, Drowsy gets caught out here. Does both have red buff, so ends up surviving. I think as soon as he saw the channel from Briar, I think he could have thrown back some damage, a little bit more damage. But I think maybe because there was an award in this bush, he was worried about the follow-up. But ends up surviving either way. But so far, I think the entire bot half of the team for team AT. Oh my goodness, Crazy Mr. BC just steps up way too far forward. Is not respecting this Fed Katarina. Gonna get instantly popped. And Unknown is gonna try to make something happen. Top R1, R2, follow up from the knockup. Mr. Zufu buying some time here, and he's gonna land the R and then the healing. So definitely able to turn this around just a bit. But Vi had held her R, is gonna finally be able to take him down. But wow, that, I mean, one item Volibear, not even stacked Rod of Ages. It's just ridiculous how strong that was. But I guess to nitpick a little bit, Chevy Man and Unknown probably shouldn't have let Volibear's Storm hit both of them. Gave him too much value, but... Okay, so Bryson...
Volibear is absorbing a lot of pressure, so
yeah,
they should get this strike for free, which is good.
Mm-hmm. Bryson had to pop heal there. I think he was a little bit worried that he was going to get one shot. And approaching that wall was definitely risky, but the first... Herald is going to go over to Team ATZ, but now the stacking has begun for Team BBZ with the Infernals. Makes Karthus a huge threat. A flash forward, I'm not sure if that flash was necessarily the best idea there, but he did buy enough time. 3-man gank, a flash away from Zufu. He's going to end up surviving. And the mid laners are now dueling it on the bot side, but CJ's already kind of low. He's using the E to safely try to push this wave and then get out of there. He does manage to do so. And Xerath landing some shots. Oh, lands actually most of them, but no follow-up to be had. Ezreal is at home.
This game, even though Blue Side has a lead,
god. So yeah, that's Bryson's Xerath in a nutshell right there.
It was a very good shot. Even though Blue Side has a lead, this game could still go either way. What I really want to see from Red Side is I want them to see them play 4-1. I want to see them group with that Karthus.
Yeah. So a nice snipe coming in for Big Palm is going to land right on the target that he wants the most. And yes, the Herald hit did end up happening, but they can't follow up now. Drowsy's a little bit caught out. He's going to Arcane Shift into Volibear's Storm, but the turnaround is there. Not enough damage. Is he going to be able to... The barrier absorbs most of CJ's damage, and oh my god, the Ignite and the turret shot is going to do it. I'm not sure if that 3 versus 1 aggressive played from him. I mean, Yone does the Yone thing, sure, but I think considering he's a little bit behind, I don't know if that was the right play. And now Volibear low too. He needs to be careful. It could just be scaling issues right now, but I feel like Yone are normally landing on an ADC ends up in a kill. But it sure felt like that didn't do much damage. I mean, sure, the Ezreal did barrier though.
Yeah, it's just kind of hard. Vi's there to interrupt. You're never gonna get more hits. Like, it's a full HP Ezreal, so Vi's there to peel. It's just it's an awkward situation.
Now I will say that yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna further my comment earlier. I really want to see them playing with Karthus, and that was a bit disjointed. But I want to see Volibear on the bot side of the map here with Baron coming up, and then Yone should just push waves and group with Karthus, and that's their strengths. Volibear draws 2 to the side because Ornn can't match him, and they play with Karthus. This 1-3-1 is kind of awkward because Yone doesn't win against Katarina that much, and the biggest problem, he has to respect jungle. If Vi's there, he dies so easily for free. So it's kind of hard for him to play that side lane.
Oh, absolutely. I think Vi with Flash is pretty much a Nocturne. The range she can cover just with Q Flash and the chain CC and the guaranteed lockdown is just so good. They have to respect the Vi. And sure, Briar can cover even more ground, but I think the way the game has been going, the overall map movement has been better for Team ATZ for sure in coordinating ganks with Vi. I think so far, BBZ have been doing a lot of solo plays, like Volibear trying to make a play by himself, Briar trying to make a play by himself, Yone trying to make a play by himself. So a little bit of coordination definitely could go a long way. Now, Mr. Sufu, once again, as I say that, is going to get locked up by Vi. Oh, and the Ezreal ult for a little bit extra damage is going to secure it now. Briar is going to get caught out by Ezreal here, and a lot of damage actually just from 2 Q abilities from both bot laners for ATZ, but of course Briar can heal up quite quickly. And I think the point that you made about the 1-3-1 and the 4-1 difference here is starting to show. Ezreal and Xerath can do this all day. They can just push in this wave. And, like, what is Karthus going to do? Stay under turret and just farm all day? And, like, he's falling behind as it is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. With Volibear, he drew 2 up there. Sure, he died. It wasn't optimal, but Yone should have just pushed 1 wave and hovered mid. And then as far as 4, they could have pressured that mid turret. That's exactly how they need to play this comp instead of trying to play both side lanes.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, because I think this area right here is where Ezreal and Xerath have been for most of this push, right? Briar right here, Yone right here, just any kind of flank, and they're simply dead because Karthus is going to throw down his wall of pain. Really easy for the Morgana to land her Q. And, like, what is Ezreal and Xerath going to do against, like, a Yone Briar coming in? Like, nothing, so... I think they should definitely be putting a lot... Okay, so nice sidestep coming in from Drowsy's. Chevy Man is going to land a nice 2-man knockup, and it's going to be so much damage channeled together. Katarina R, Xerath R, and the Ezreal R. And sure, Karthus R is going to come down, and now Briar's going to try to pick up something, but a nice flash away and an instant Q by Unknown. Very nicely played. And that call was probably the biggest turning point we've seen so far to engage. I mean... Chevy Man with the huge 2-man knockup, and the Katarina, you never get to see Katarina do a full channel like that into a team with that much CC.
And the Ornn played that fabulously. That was really, really well done. And it's the same thing that we've seen all through this series is the red side kind of just responds a little later, and they pay for it.
No, yeah, absolutely. The thing with Ornn that I think people think of him as that late game like value tank. He's got a lot of CC and things like that, but the ability for him to open up fights, his R is, I mean, it might as well be a Maokai R because the range is so long. If you're pinned anywhere, you're gonna take the damage and you're gonna get CC'd. And that choke right there in the mid lane where they were stuck between the destroy turret and this Raptors wall, that was like just chef's kiss. That was very well done. And the layering CC and follow with damage as well. I mean, Ezreal R, it can feel absolutely like useless, like a wet fart. But like if it lands on a stacked enemy that isn't moving, it can feel like it's doing like so much damage.
No, yeah, I mean, and this is the perfect example. Like we saw how Ornn's laning phase was. It was miserable. I mean, he was weak side. His wave was frozen for like a minute and a half, but the champion is fine. He's still so useful.
So Unknown's going to hold off on the R until the black shield wears off. Morgana does flash away, but it's not going to be enough. Xerath just throwing out a shot after... Oh my, he just lands everything. I mean, Bryson's... this is the reason why Xerath was banned the previous games, is that Bryson's... His Xerath is just built different. He lands the shots so immaculately. He is pretty much an AP carry in his own right now. And on top of the chase down potential of Ezreal, Katarina, Vi, like it's just starting to look like the snowball is unstoppable. Yone's gonna try to do what he can to buy some time, and Ornn is pushing bot. Okay, here comes the Volibear with the Karthus R on top, and then Unknown's gonna be the one to be locked down by the Briar. He's gonna actually get over the wall. The bleed, is it gonna be enough? Walks back for the blasting cone, charges his Q, does manage to get over the wall, but Briar, when he is berserk, is so fast, or she rather. And now Drowsy is going to get cut off by CJ, but it was at the last tick of his E, so he's going to end up surviving. But is he going to get caught out by Volibear? Yes, he is. He flashes once again into the W like an idiot, and is going to get the storm onto him and the stun. I don't know. I don't think Ezreal can ever really out-kite a Volibear. That's just my opinion, but even so, predicting where the W should fall should be something he should be looking out for, but ends up dying. This is going to prompt BBZ to start up the Baron buff. Not having a traditional ADC, definitely making it a little bit slow. Ezreal R is thrown out. They do confirm it, and Mr. Zufu going to get caught out. Okay, Chevy Man does throw out the ult backwards to make sure Mr. Zufu gets knocked up, and he does get knocked out. And they're clumping. He's going to get a 3-man knockout. Oh my god, once again. Xerath R just raining down fire with a Katarina as icing on the cake, and I think that is the nail in the coffin. I don't think BBZ can recover from this.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. In the end of the day, both top laners made the same mistake twice in a row. Ornn should have TP'd for that Baron. It was very greedy to hit that bot tower. And then same thing. They won the fight because of it, and then Volibear hit that top tower too.
Yeah.
And because of that, they were able to turn. So.
Oh my goodness, not respecting the Vi, man. Crazy Mr. BC going to go down. Sure, he's going to get the ultimate off. Drowsy is the lowest one, but he's going to survive. And Katarina is, oh my goodness, big mistake from Kenyon. Not realizing that even after the ultimate, Karthus can throw out at least 3 more Qs. Ends up going down. And the Malignance as well. I think that's a mistake a lot of people make, is that standing in the Malignance. Now, Bryson's going to get chased down by CJ. And gonna flash over the wall. He's gonna dodge actually both of the ultimates, but it's not gonna matter because Mr. Zufu is gonna chase him down. And now Big Palm, oh my god, he's just so fast. And yes, he does, you know, kind of walk right into Big Palm, but I think he knew he was gonna die. Last hurrah there. Pings are coming down now for Dragon. It's probably gonna be the next point of contention because it will break the tie of this 2 Infernal apiece, and it will put them on Soul Point. As mentioned before, Infernal is just so good on both of these compositions. Just looking at the map state, though, of how Inhibitor is down and where the waves are, like, Tier 1 turrets are still standing for both mid and bot for ATZ. Do you think, you know, BBZ should use this opportunity to push out their waves and try to catch up a little bit, or should they contest this Dragon?
No, I totally think that's the correct call. It's not Soul Point. I mean, it's not Soul, so... I think the correct call is to give up Soul Point and maybe try to crack mid. I think that would be the correct call.
Yeah, but as you can see, they're already kind of getting area. They're going to get some vision, and they are here first. Vi and Ornn are pretty far away. How fast can they melt this down? It looks like Ezreal's actually making the call to push mid really aggressively. They have a lot of ways to stop recalls here. Xerath R, Ezreal R, so it looks like they are going to give it up. Now, Keno's going to get caught out a little bit here. Yone does E2 back into the pit, and they are going to get away by taking this dragon. Chevy Man's going to look for a knock up there, but of course the Black Shield was there. It didn't land anyways. Now the TP is going to be used by Volibear. He's going to cut off any more pushing from Ezreal. I don't think ATZ need to push anything further here. Do they know that? Okay, they know that Briar's in there. I don't know why Keno's walking down. He could have helped Bryson there. Oh, Bryson is going to end up going down. I think there was a little lapse of... And the late Zhonya's to finish it off, but...
Yeah, I think Red Side could have fought that maybe. Seeing Ezreal's top again, Ezreal's the fed one. Ezreal has a lot of the gold, and Palmer got a very nice pick on Xerath. So if they stayed, they maybe could have wiped.
Oh, this is just painful. I mean, there's no world where Ezreal wins that 1v1, unfortunately. So I think the call was to push that turret to add a little bit more pressure. You know, Ezreal knowing that the rest of Red Team were down here. But you're right, Ezreal being top half and Blue Team chasing this deep into the map without an objective to take, they absolutely could have turned on that, but instead they're the ones that get the Briar picked off. Of course, Xerath did go down as well, though. Now, Gundle's going to flash over the wall, but it's not like you can run away from Katarina, so another free pick going over to Keno. He's having an absolutely, like, pop-off kind of game. Upgraded Shadow Flame, doing so much work. And Morgana, of course, just kind of a rough game here. Just... lots of items behind. Okay, so Xerath's going to throw out the R. They're going to land onto Karthus. Last shot. One more. And Briar R is going to land onto Bryson. This is what we were talking about. Once you're throwing out your Rs, you're a sitting duck, and he is going to end up picking up Bryson. And the fight's going to ensue. Oh my goodness, Ezreal R. He predicted where Karthus was going to be, but he does throw out the Karthus ult of his own. The fight is going to continue in a 2 versus 3. They are walking toward Ezreal. Ezreal is going to try to join up on this fight. Is this fight going to extend any longer? Volibear is going to be the first to take the brunt of the force. Yone R is not going to land only onto Chevy Man, but right E is back into the arms of Unknown. Unknown is going to target Big Palm, which means Ezreal is going to be left to the jaws of Mr. Zufu there. So I think they could have kept Ezreal alive. A little bit of tunneling. I mean, either way, they win the fight. But for the ADCs, I'm sure he was screaming his head off, hey, why aren't you peeling me? But
at this point in the game, now it becomes very difficult for Red Side to start to win. They can't... They're in just a very difficult spot with the people that need gold don't have gold. And it's at this point, they kind of need a throw. It's very hard to just... to win, like, both teams playing optimally. They really need a mistake to come back.
Oh, absolutely. I think their one saving grace is that they do have some decent scaling on their team with the Karthus And they are the ones on Soul Point. That can kind of give them some relief. I definitely think they should give up the next dragon, knowing that they still have a little bit of time until they get their chance to really compete for that final soul battle. As long as this mid inhibitor's down, and as long as this Yone is on 2 items, I don't think there's really a world where they can fight. They should just try to. They should be power farming. I mean, it's crazy because Yone has so much farm on this Katarina. It just does not matter. This Katarina's just a monster. And Baron's gonna spawn now, so I guess the plan of just waiting this game out and trying to scale is not gonna happen. As long as ATZ immediately start up this Baron, they do have to respond. I think the Baron will be the nail in the coffin if they just give it up for free. They could just march down mid. I mean, look how confident they are. Like, the fact that Katarina's just walking face first into Mr. Zufu, despite the Karthus being on the other side of the map. And okay, he's going to get hit by the R, and Mr. Zufu is going to survive for now. They're immediately going to turn onto Keno. Keno's the first one to go to shut down into CJ's pocket. Now he's going to try to chase onto Ezreal, but is going to recall right back to Unknown's arms once again. I've seen this before. A flash into, oh my god, Ezreal R actually hits both of them. This is going to be an easy cleanup. And meanwhile, Ornn is pushing bot side. Xerath and Karthus in a 1 versus 1 situation. He's going to heal up a bit. He's going to try to recall to try to save the base, but he can't. Xerath is going to make sure. Oh my, he's actually going to flash. Doesn't use the blast cone. Uses barrier when cooldowns are down. Yeah, that was not it, but I think a bit of panic definitely for crazy Mr. BC.
Hey, Tyler was trying to win. He was trying to win. He was trying to get away from him, but he got found.
Yeah, the sequence of abilities there was definitely not optimal. Not using the blasting clone, flashing kind of unnecessarily. Yeah, either way, I think would it have made a difference if Karthus went home? Probably not. I think the 3 inhibitor situation was inevitable. This will put ATZ on the Soul Point as well. They are starting it up. Briar, of course, can go for the Hail Mary here, but I don't know if that is worth it, because I think if they lose any of their 5 members, ATZ is just going to walk down mid and end the game.
Yeah, it's very difficult. If they give Baron up at this point, if he dies there, even if he gets the Dragon, they can take Baron, and it is almost impossible to survive a Baron 3 inhib siege. So
oh yeah, especially with Xerath Ezreal. Yeah, it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I think we can pretty much see the writings on the wall. Just to kind of recap, what do you think Team BBZ could have done better for this to not snowball as hard as it did?
Again, it's just Yone doesn't have TP, so he can't play that side lane like he did. He needs to group with the team and be looking for picks. I think is like the biggest thing that needed to happen. I think Briar played honestly very well with how she looked for picks and found different targets, but I think they just really needed to group as 4 and let Volibear side lane.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, Volibear, no one could answer him in a 1 versus 1 scenario, so they were going to pull 2, right? So if he pulls 2, then that's when you force a fight on the other half of the map, but the macro just wasn't there this time around. Okay, so once again, Ornn is going to look for... Okay, so Ornn's going to look for a 3 versus 1. He's going to buy a ton of time. Another 3-man knockout. Okay, this guy just cannot be allowed to play Ornn. The value is insane. Katarina with the sick dodge, but the Zhonya's probably wasn't necessary. But that will be the game. Karthus all the way lonesome back. He is on wave clear duty, and he's getting a ton of money, so but it's not going to matter. There's just nothing he can do here. I know the Briar R landed on Ezreal, and he timed his E to just get over this wall to buy a little bit of time, and once Briar doesn't immediately get a pick, it's pretty much over. But yeah, that'll be the series. That'll be ATZ taking this best of 5 finals in season 4 over BBZ. A really, well fought game, preventing the reverse sweep. But yeah, that was a fun game.
It was exciting. It was an exciting bloody game.
Yeah, I think it was just nice to hear your thoughts on what could have gone better for sure for Team BBZ, since you are very familiar with the Yone. I think they definitely didn't play to their strengths, and I think the draft as well. Like ATZ had a very, very good draft. Like Katarina Vi, I feel like is a very strong combo, and Ezreal Xerath is a very strong combo. I've never heard of Karthus Morgana. It's just it doesn't seem like it could work. But again, the barrier was a little bit troll. No TP on Yone, a bit troll as well. And I think
Yeah.
Volibear these days go Ghost, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, poke from ahead is super good. Poke from behind is terrible. So
Oh, yeah.
Ezreal getting ahead and Xerath getting ahead was really, really important for Blue Side's win. If they were behind, poke from behind is terrible to play.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
so that was really important.
I think it was a risk. I mean, obviously it paid off in retrospect, but it was a risk because Katarina can feel pretty useless when you're behind. As you mentioned, Ezreal is like the worst caster minion of a champion if he falls behind, and of course he's never going to catch up to Karthus because Karthus is going to infinite scale. And Briar obviously has had a huge impact. Palmer has played him, I think, 4 out of 5 games this entire series and has won 2 of them. So this last one, it could have been the final one for him to end. And I mean, his KD is not bad. Obviously, he died quite a bit, but compared to the rest of his team, he really did do a pretty good job. But yeah, that'll be the series. Discount Team House Season 4 finals. Just a shout out to Emp for co-casting this with me. He did get eliminated a little bit early, a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, both these teams beat me, so I mean, I thank you for having me here. At least
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
to commentate the last
Yeah,
game.
yeah, that was fun.